Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Good morning. Welcome to Open Your Eyes, Start Your Morning Bright. I'm Marlene Cuellar, and thank you for joining me this morning. It is a bright and sunny Monday morning. Definitely looked like it's gearing up to be a steamy one. And of course, we are with you to be able to start your day and your week right. We're going to kick things off this morning with some motivation to get you going, and that means we'll get right into our eye opener. And our eye opener, taken from dailyom.com, goes like this. The truly noteworthy events in our lives are often the least momentous, yet the most wonderful. Most of us are adept at seeing the big picture. Caught up in the hectic pace of modern life, we feel compelled to immediately distinguish what is important from what is not. The assessment is an easy one to make when we are mired in the daily grind. Everything relating to success seems significant, and everything else seems comparatively trivial. But what is most precious in this life cannot be measured in affluence or influence. To experience them fully, we need only open ourselves to their existence. An idea for increasing your awareness of the magical moments in your life is to record all such happenings in a journal kept for that purpose. As these moments are personal, your journal can be a documentation of small joys or a testimony of grand revelations. You may begin to notice that there is more magic in your life than you initially imagined. In striving to make the most of each of these magical moments, you grant yourself permission to experience new levels of joy, surprise, tenderness, and personal fulfillment. Oh, beautiful eye-opener for today. I think that last sentence really seals it. Different levels. We're all working from one goal to another. We're all trying to hit different milestones in whether it's in your own personal life, whether it's what you're planning for your family. It could be within your career as well. And you keep on moving from one big achievement or one big goal to another. But it's so important that you're able to acknowledge the little moments in between. The great days that you may have where no big deal happened for the day, but it was one that simply brought you joy. And I think that when the eye-opener uses the idea of journaling as one way to help you understand, that's one of the aspects you can do, but also just taking time, either at the start of your day or the end of your day, to really give that reflection and recognize how you're feeling and how the day went for you. So a beautiful eye-opener to start your day off for today. All right, we're going to keep things moving this morning, and that means we're going to be checking in on our weather. And today, our general situation is going to be hot and mostly dry weather conditions prevail. The 24-hour forecast is for mostly sunny and very hot today, with showers, if any, being isolated and if any being isolated and brief. Clear to partly cloudy tonight with little or no rainfall. Our winds will be moving from the east to the southeast at 10 to 20 knots, and it'll be gusty, and the sea state will be moderate to rough. That means there is a small craft caution in effect for occasional gusty winds, accompanied by rough seas at times in large north to northeasterly waves. our highs for today. Ooh. All right, along the coast, 92 Fahrenheit. Inland, 102 Fahrenheit. And in the hills, 86. Let's just take a moment there. Those are extremely high temperatures for inland. And residents, especially those inland, are advised to stay hydrated and avoid outdoor activity as much as possible. As for tonight, we're going to be seeing lows along the coast at 82, inland at 76, and in the hills, 68. For Tuesday and Tuesday night is for continuing hot and mostly dry weather. Showers, if any, will be isolated. All right, we want to thank our forecaster, Angelia Guy, for preparing that for us today. Those are some very high temperatures that we're seeing inland. Please, please do listen to the heat warning that's taking place. There are heat-related illnesses that you may experience, from heat exhaustion all the way up to heat stroke. And these are very serious illnesses. And so you want to make sure that you avoid being in the direct sunlight, especially if you can. If you're going to be outdoors, cover accordingly. Find shade if you can. And remember, most importantly, stay hydrated. Check in on your elderly and make sure they're drinking enough water, and also the little ones as well. Ensure that they do as the day progresses. All right, and with housekeeping out of the way, it's time for us to get moving into Eye on the News. All right, and so to start off Eye on the News for today, there are a couple of updates that we want to provide. But before we do, we want to talk about some of the big news coming out last week. On Friday, the Public Service Union did a walkout at around midday where they took their plea through the streets of Belize, and it is a very critical time for us as we start this week. Today is the day that the 21-day notice of the trade dispute expires. And we've been told repeatedly by representatives of the union that they will go on strike as of tomorrow. So to start off this conversation, we're going to take a look at what took place on Friday.
It was a calculated move made by the Public Service Union today when at the stroke at 12 o'clock, public officers in Belize City packed up and left their offices to congregate on Freetown Road. Within minutes and with placards in hand, they paraded along the main thoroughfare, momentarily interrupting traffic at some points.
Out here on my lunch break.
So for how long are you going to be walking the streets?
And until as long as they decide they will not cut my salary. My salary cut that like somebody whole house rent. I still have the right to come out here and advocate for my salary, because this is my salary. They have the decision to cut my salary, and I have the right to be out here to defend the salary that I have worked for.
The activity was held across the country in various municipalities.
As you know, it's just a continuation of what we have been doing in terms of our industrial actions. And we always say that we want to maintain a certain degree of presence and consciousness in terms of what this action is all about. And hence the reason why we continue to engage in these industrial actions.
Joining the public officers today in Belize City were teachers from the Belize District branch of the BNTU.
We just united with PSU members, and we did a small demonstration down Freetown. That was the goal today, as they embark on their strike. To our members, I'm just appealing to you all to come out and join us in full forces, and let's stand our ground and send our message. We're not fighting, the 10% is out there, but there's other things we're fighting for. So let's stand our ground as BNTU and get the message across so that 5 years, 10 years, we're not here again. Because honestly, we need to make a stand now and get it over with.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
That's what it looked like on Friday here in Belize City. As we said earlier, the Public Service Union walked out of their offices and they demonstrated through some of the streets here in Belize City, and they were joined by representatives of the BNTU. The teachers, of course, have been staging different actions in protest for over a week now, and it is also keeping with the same message that we hear coming from the PSU. There are two issues on the table here. One, it's about the salary cut, and the second part is about good governance issues. And while the budget was passed last Wednesday in the Senate, it seems as if the strike actions continue. Now, as we said earlier, the 21-day notice for the Public Service Union expires today. So what will happen tomorrow? That's a question that our news team asked the president of the Public Service Union on Friday. Here's his response.
Pretty much what we did was just to need to formulate the way forward, and considering the fact that PSU has already submitted and that on Tuesday next week we will officially be on strike.
What are we to expect on Tuesday of next week? Is it that the public officers won't report to work?
Well, there will be certainly some departments where for those who support the actions of the unions that the workers won't be going into work, no? So what people need to expect is to exercise some patience, because there will be a slowdown in the services provided, and we are hoping that the majority of the public officers would understand that this is not only a situation that we are fighting for the 10%, but it's also to get the good governance issues implemented, the legislation implemented, so that we are not here again 5 years from now with them coming to us for another 5 or 10%.
All right, and so there you hear it. That was President Henry of the Public Service Union giving an overview of what happens as of tomorrow. Now, the last conversation we had with the Minister of Public Service, he did say that they were open to returning back to the table with the unions to hammer out a solution. They have spoken of the option of using the Constitution to change the salaries of public servants. However, that process has not been initiated, and so what needs to happen at this time, if this meeting goes forward, and we have reliable information that that meeting should take place this week, what will happen is they need to define what the salary cuts will be, if they'll proceed with the salary cuts. As I said, in the Senate on Wednesday it was passed. Now the details, at one point the recommendation was for a tiered approach. People from different people with different salaries would receive different cuts. The details of how the salary cuts will proceed, if it will be 10% across the board, whether it will be 8, 10, and 12, as was proposed at one point, that there still is the exclusion of people who earn less than $12,000. These are details that have still not been defined. But the good governance issues are really a part of the conversation that in the BNTU conversations that we've had, they've been very clear about, APSSM as well. As you saw in that video, some of the union members are still talking about the salary cuts, so it will be really interesting to see what happens when the unions return back to the table with the government representatives and see how we can move forward. Tomorrow will be a very critical day. As President Henry explained, they are expecting some members to go on strike, which means they won't be in government departments. We've seen the private sector, the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry, speak about the concerns that they have there as well. Slowing down of key government departments doesn't do well for business. And they have also offered to mediate the situation. Whether or not that offer has been taken up, we don't have the details of that. But these are all stories that we are working on and hoping to be able to get some answers to you or viewers, as we've all been tuning into what's been happening in the past few weeks. So that's where we are as of today. And just in updates from some of the crime stories over the weekend, there were 2 shootings this weekend in Belize City. We can confirm that much. A 19-year-old was shot at the corner of Berkeley and George Street, and a 20-year-old was shot later that night at the entrance of his yard. So those are 2 crime stories that we'll be providing updates in our newscast tonight at 6 p.m. That's it for us with Eye on the News. And with that, we're going to get ready to move into our show for today. And our first conversation for this morning, May 1st, was Labor Day. And so in keeping with that theme, we wanted to check in to find out how people who've lost their job in the pandemic are doing. A number of Belizeans are either working less hours, and quite a number of them are still looking for employment. So we'll have a panel discussion with people who lost their jobs due to COVID, how they're doing, and just some of the things that they're hoping will be able to help them through this difficult time. That's going to be a two-part conversation, and then we're going to have a really interesting conversation about something called the Maya nut. It's a tree, and it's being used to create local produce. We'll tell you all the details about that in the final part of our show. We're going to take our first break, and when we come back, we're going to get our conversation started. So please, stay tuned.
Currently, we're using Smart Elite VoIP calling plan. We use it interbranch, we use it to call outside, and we also use it to call international. It's far cheaper than what we used to have before. Our equipment, our new PBX box is new. So the PBX is very good because I can call to my Sartaneja branch, I can call to my Kikaka branch, I can call to San Pedro branch, and there's no cost using the PBS. Actually, right now, since we're in different locations, I can call main office from where I am at a no cost using the PBX system. I would recommend it, sure I would, especially the big enterprises who has a lot of employees. There's a lot of reduction in costs, 50% of saving. But that on a year, it's a lot of money that we're saving. Money that we could return to our members, since we give back dividend to our members.
Visit our showroom or call 670-6710 to find out how Smart's corporate plan and PBX systems can benefit your business. Consultation is free.
As one of the largest cable and internet providers in Belize, CBC strives to provide our customers with the highest standards of quality, value, and service in all aspects of cable TV and internet. Monitoring our systems closely, our technicians combine creative planning and state-of-the-art technology with years of experience and training to develop and provide the most reliable and advanced cable and internet service to exceed your expectations. For CBC and our team of talented engineers, technicians, and customer service representatives, delivering less than the very best is never an option.
In these challenging times, the one thing that is certain is that the Belize Bank Limited is here for you. There is nothing more important than your health and safety, and we continue to make every effort to make banking safer for you. Our staff is working around the clock to make sure you can do your banking conveniently 24/7 using our mobile banking app and online banking and keeping ATMs up and running. We value your relationship with us and are here to provide the support you need. First responders are also out there 24/7. Thank you, healthcare workers, security forces, firefighters, caregivers. You are all appreciated. Stay safe. We will get through this together. The Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
Hi, I am Rosanna Briceño. I am happy to see that the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccine has begun all over our nation. If we are to get back to some kind of normalcy, if our golden citizens will be better protected, and if our children are to go back to school, then we need to get vaccinated. I believe in the COVID-19 vaccine, and when my turn comes around, I will get vaccinated. I urge you to take it too. #GetVaccinated Belize.
It is my time
to protect your life.
Don't wait to vaccinate.
I believe in the COVID-19 vaccine.
The vaccine is the best way to protect lives.
Don't wait, vaccinate.
Don't hesitate, Belize.
Vaccinate.
Be COVID-19 safe.
If you care,
love them.
Protect them.
Vaccinate them.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Andrea Polanco, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes, go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
And we'll be back in a few, so stay tuned. Thanks, Jen. Hey there, we know you have to head out to work shortly, but don't forget that you can stay tuned by watching us on our Facebook live stream. Find us at Open Your Eyes BC, and you can continue watching there. You can also download Facebook Watch on your streaming device, and you can watch at your own convenience.
And for all the behind-the-scenes fun, follow us on Instagram at OYE Belize. So,
find us
and follow us
today.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
Today's COVID update is brought to you by Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price but stay for the service.
And we're back. We got John Palacio with us to get this conversation going.
All right, good morning. This is like home, and so therefore looking forward to it. But like you mentioned, we've got our conversation all lined up and set, all courtesy Fulltech Systems, our coronavirus update here. In with us, we'll have Nick Alvarado, who is a small business owner. We've got Tariq Domingo, who is says he's unemployed. Jared Keane is also with us, and Ava Palacio. And this discussion is how COVID-19 affected their lives. Guys, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so you know, I'm looking forward to this conversation simply because it is real. It is exactly what had occurred and how people are living at this particular point. And I want to start at the start of the pandemic, when it was mentioned that we've got our first case, our second cases, and it seemed like a really scary situation. And I'll start with Nick. What was that thought like for you, and did you imagine you'd be in this position?
At the start of the good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, John. At the start of the pandemic last year, coming around March the 12th, first of all, I'm Nicolai Alvarado. I also represent the BLAS Association, which is comprised of a whole heap of guides and tourism vendors and local stakeholders. So at the start of the pandemic last year, March, a lot of us in tourism, as we represent the tourism sectors, we were carrying out our tours regularly. And around March 12 was when everything came to a standstill for us, you could say. There was a lot of hopes that it will restart, you know, so people still had hopes in their mind that it will restart in like a month or two, they will bring the virus under control. But as time progressed, it didn't get any better. Bills were coming in for a lot of the guides, for a lot of my guides or our guides that work for us, a lot of the other companies. They were like, hey, Nick, what are we going to do? We got to try to see what we could do to try to get some money to pay the bills, to put food on the table. So a lot of the guides, some of them diverse from tourism and went into agriculture. They went back into fishing. They went back into their various trade that they were doing before tourism, right? So it has been very challenging though, because, you know, when at the peak of the coronavirus, thousands of Belizeans lost their job, and the first hit was the tourism sector. Thousands, hundreds and thousands of tourism tour guides and vendors and tour operators and hoteliers and people that works in the hotel industry out of a job. And then you have the agricultural people now. They already been doing the agricultural work for years, and with all of us coming into it and start doing the agricultural, going back into agricultural again, it starts to create a strain not only on the economy but also on those in the agricultural industry now, right? So it has been very challenging for us in the tourism sector. A lot of us, like I said, diverse and went into other industries. For myself and some of the other guides, what we did, a lot of guides, we are ambassadors and stewards of the country. So we don't believe in just waiting around for things to happen. We like to make things happen. So what we did, we came together. Like I said, some folks went into their taxi service, some created new businesses, and that's what we did. We created new business, and we came together as some guides, and we started a different business until the tourism industry is about to come back. And last October, when the airport started, some folks went back into the tourism industry, but majority of the tour guides and other stakeholders are still unemployed, right? So they're still trying to find a way to make that dollar at the end of the day. Some of them, like I said, when construction workers went to chop cane. Imagine going from working in the tourism industry, making a salary just by talking and being a steward of your country, and going to chop cane for $25 a day just to feed your family. In the north, you're going to pick orange, right?
Nick, can I just...
So it was...
Yeah, I wanted to ask a question, because you said you moved forward to where you started your own business. But those first few months where it was just a complete crash, there was no tourism business coming in. Even before we detected our first case in the country, people stopped coming. What was it like for you personally when you'd be at home with your family or used to a busy schedule? What were the thoughts that you were having?
At home, I have a young son at home, 3 years old, right? And for me, I found it as at the beginning I was like, okay, I'm home more with my son. I could spend time with the family now. So I wasn't really worrying at first, right? I wasn't really worrying about anything at first until the months start going by, and you notice, you know what, the savings, the different business that they're into, even those are being affected. So we got to see what we got to do now to try to gain money to continue sustaining the family. Right. So at the beginning, it was. I think for most tourism workers at the beginning, most people didn't believe that it would have lasted this long. Then, and I think it was till after October then it really hit the tour guides and those in the tourism industry. Like, you know what, this is going to be here for the long haul. Even right now, if you ask someone in the tourism industry like us, we tell you, well, we know it's going to be here until about 2023, 2024 before you see something really getting back to normal here in Belize when it comes to the tourism industry. It might restart, but to get back to that era where we were in 2019, early 2020, it will be about probably next 2 years, 2.5 years.
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
Tariq, let's get Tariq Domingo in. Tariq, what was your thoughts? How did you feel?
Yes, good morning once again. Yes, I can relate a lot to what Nick has said earlier in terms of the first few months after it hit, we were like, okay, let's appreciate this time because we have more time at home. But going from working towards like 4-5 days a week, you know, and going back to just sitting down, you know, it started to take a toll mentally. And I mean, I have a young child at home, and I was appreciative of the time with them and, you know, that time with family. But after a while, I mean, it started to get to the point that I don't want to be pulling my hairs out of my head, but I mean, you have to start to think about what can you do, because me and Nick, tourism is our passion. It's something that we...
You were a guide too?
Yes, I'm a tour guide.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So it's been for about 10 years I've been tour guiding. So, I mean, that transition. And another thing about tourism, it opens doors for a lot of opportunities. So there was that possibility as well that I was on the brink of, in terms of, you know, a chance to work on a cruise ship, a chance to go abroad and stuff. So it really took a toll mentally, and it kind of, you know, put me in a stance to say, okay, plan B, plan C, which you didn't really expect. You had to have plan B or C. You know?
Now let's get everybody's story before we move forward. Jared, tell us what happened for you.
Okay, so before COVID, I was working at More FM, and I had just started working there. I know I had a couple run-ins with John, and he would always tell me I'm always doing a good job and to keep it up. And when COVID hit, that's when, you know, all the budget cutting started, and he had to like cut. Well, most of the DJs and most of the radio announcers from More FM out of the picture. And that time home, I wasn't doing much. Yes, I had like side jobs or different side hustles. I do voiceovers. Once I was working with Colorblind in their control room, helping them with one of their shows. But it was nothing long term, and I think it really started affecting me like later down the road, September, October. Savings were going down, finances were going down, and it was a lot to deal with mentally. So that's how it affected me in that way. And well, now I'm still unemployed, but I'm slowly and gradually seeing myself being in a better place in the future. So that's where I'm at right now.
Let's hear from Ava. What's your story, Ava? She may be on mute. Ava, are you still there? Oh no, it seems we lost her. Okay. So we're going to get her back on. This is, there she is, right in time. Ava, go ahead and share with us your experience. Oh no, we're definitely having some connection issues there. But as we said, this is an opportunity for us to hear directly from Belizeans. We hear the quote of thousands of Belizeans lost their jobs, thousands of Belizeans still don't have jobs. And this is an opportunity for us to put a face and story behind these thousands of Belizeans. And I want to ask, you know, what is the toll? Jared, for you, for example, you know, you thought you were starting your career, and then the pandemic comes and you are left trying to figure out just where you're going to find an income. What's the mental toll that it takes on you?
Well, for me, I knew that I had different talents, and it's something that I could potentially capitalize on. The market for it wasn't there, however, because, like I said, on the side, things like voiceovers, helping out with videography, those are, you know, my skill sets, and the market for that wasn't there. You find that people weren't putting out ads because, we're in a pandemic and you can't, compensate for advertisements like that, like we used to, at least. And it made me start thinking and going in different directions. I did end up starting working at a call center for a while. That didn't work out, but fortunately I did have enough to go ahead and start venturing into holistic massaging and massage therapy, and that's where I'm at right now. So I'm currently studying at the Holistic School of Massages. I'm training to become a certified massage therapist, and I'll actually be launching my own business and services
Jared,
quite soon.
What I heard from you is that there was a point whereby you started to scramble to try and make ends meet and make things get done, because of course we all need those finances. Which brings me to Tariq. T, one of the things I heard from Jared is that he did a scramble to try and make things happen. Now he is at the point whereby he's trying to elevate his skill set. What about you? Was there a time you tried to scramble, and what all did you venture into to now be at the spot that you are?
Well, a little while, it was like 6 months into the pandemic beginning, I ventured into doing some online working. It was a mixture of some sort of like a shop job, and I ventured into a call center. I even did some construction as well. And it's like Nick said earlier, imagine going just to do your mouth and hand gesturing to actually a hands-on job.
Mm-hmm.
And to the point where I actually did a somewhat of a celebration when I did a tour a couple of months ago. It was the first one I did after a year, and that was a great one for me. I think that was the tour I took the most pictures on.
I can imagine. It must feel like you're getting back a bit to where you were before. Now, did any of you access
If you know me, that's my comfort zone. Sorry.
Yeah. Did any of you access the unemployment assistance that was offered?
The one for last year?
From last year, yeah.
Yes. I think that's what was helping our guides and those they were giving 150, I think, every 2 weeks, right? And then they were actually getting pantries. Some of them were getting pantries, because I know there's a lot of tour guides, a lot of our members on Blast are single mothers, right? And they were getting assistance from this 150 every 2 weeks, or pantries, because they don't have anything else to do but tour guiding. Then they have to mind their kids, 2-3 kids at home. They're going to school, so that was helping them while they were still doing like a little nail in the salons or hairdressing, or finding a little hustle on the side to try to make ends meet. So a little coming in with the pantry assistance or with the COVID relief was helping. And then also what helped a lot of tour guides last year was when they when the BTB decided to do the tour guide waiver, tour guide renewal waiver. I know it's coming up again right now. That's a big question that all of the members from our association, Blast, the tour guides from the different associations around the country is asking, because the tourism has started a little bit, but the little bit that it has started to is just enough for guys to provide for their family and to try to make ends meet when it comes to the bills, right? So what we're asking as the guides or as tourism, if that could also be extended into this year for 2021, 2022. And I must say that the DTB and the Ministry of Tourism, they have been very communicative with us at the association now. I know in the pipeline right now, they have a grant coming up that will benefit the local stakeholders when it comes to operators or guides. And they have been working with the DFC to provide low interest loans, I think of 6% annual, and the reducing balance. And you have the option where you could go in and you could find to pay after 1 year. So there's a lot of little things that they're trying to put right now in to actually help us to get back on track, right, per se. right? But it's still a struggle for majority, for probably 95% of the guides. Some of them are still working, making ends meet with little 1 or 2 jobs coming here and there. But it's still rough because remember, in order to have gotten as an operator, as a guide, in order to get to carry tours, like Tariq to tell you, or any guy to tell you, you had to go through some vigorous training and investment into your company. Yeah. So I think that took a toll on a lot of the operators because last October, everyone was like, oh, it's going to start back in October. Things are going to get better. The ships are coming back. The planes are coming back. So a lot of operators went in and invested into gold standard procedures, which means you set up your vehicles. And it's not $100 or $200 to set up a vehicle to become a gold standard certificate, right? Like for example, just one of my vans or one of I don't even have to use the company that I work for. You could ask any other tour operator; it probably costs about $1,500 just to get your van set up for gold standard, right? So imagine you have your van set up for gold standard, and some of them haven't even carried a tour since it has been set up as gold standard, right?
Yeah.
So it's still a struggle for us in the tourism industry. And what we would like in the tourism industry is just if the Ministry of Tourism and the DTD could continue working with us as tour guides and tour operators and stakeholders, vendors, because there's also a lot of vendors that lost their employment. A lot of vendors, especially right in Belize City, you used to see a lot of here breeders and vendors out at the tourist village and the cruise ships are coming in. And what are all of these people doing now?
Yeah.
Right. But what I would like to say though is I'm very proud of the tour guides and the operators because when this happened, we all came together. So let's say, like for example, Tariq, we have a chat group. So Tariq will be like, "Hey, it's just an example, right? Hey, guys, right now I cannot make ends meet this month. So if we have 200 operators, 200 guides, or everyone will just put $1, whatever they could do to try to help out each other, right? Because that's what, as tour guides, that's what we do. We're here to help. We're ambassadors. We're stewards of the country.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what we're just trying to be there. We're trying to be there for each other every day. Mentally, I think that's why a lot of the mental aspect haven't really affected a lot of the guides. Some of them it has affected, but with the talking every day on the chat and just spilling out your thoughts, your issues or whatever problem you're going through, and you have other people talking back to you every day, and they're experiencing the same thing. So you could it's a brother and sister, get through it together.
Yeah.
Right.
So it seemed like you guys were trying to find ways, or are trying to find ways to help each other out, and you did mention that some of those folks eventually had to go for the 150 every 2 weeks from GOB. But again, Tariq, or let me get to Jared. Did you have to use that service as well, Jared?
Yes, I got access to the 150. At first, it took a while. I think it was until they did like a second. I think they put out a second file for it, so that you could people that didn't get the first claim, they could have gotten the second claim. I think that's what I did, and that's when I saw it started coming in. And my first thought was like, okay, let me just save this now or help pay whatever bills I could contribute towards and save the rest, and we'll see what happens in the near future. And well, surprisingly, everything played out there. Everything had a reason for it. So I'm grateful for that relief fund.
Wow.
So I understand that we have Ava back on the line now. Ava, are you there?
Good morning, yes I am.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ava.
Okay, let's do some catch up with you. So the gentlemen have already shared their experience, how they lost their jobs or their source of income due to COVID. Tell us what happened to you.
It was basically the same as Mr. Alvarado, and I also worked in the tourism industry. So at the beginning, I also thought that it would only last for a couple of months, but then it continued, and I figured that I had to find other means to survive because I'm also a student too. So I only had a laptop and a printer, so I decided to start do photocopying and printing and scanning, and that's how I survived at the beginning.
Wow.
So how many months of unemployment before you tried to start up your own business?
Yeah.
I think it was the first month. It was the first month because I live alone, so I had to, start very early.
Ava, what was it like when you started to see cancellation after cancellation, and then you realized that your source of income is done, at least for now?
It was very difficult. I understand people who are feeling very low, very down, because at the beginning I was, but I had my mother and I had like other family members that were there for me.
And tell us about the photocopying business. I mean, how did people started to utilize that service? What was your thoughts at that time?
Well, it was very surprising at the beginning because it was just something I was trying to figure out and trying to explore in. And because before that, I also started to do babysitting, and I tried a lot of things before I actually got a breakthrough, because at one spell I was also selling popcorn and nachos at Pongyard.
Oh.
So to finally have something that catch on and was bringing constant income, I was happy for that.
So right now at this point, you're still doing your photocopying business?
Yes, I ventured more into I now design T-shirts and masks and key chains, key holders, and I customize cups. So I came a very long way from where I started.
But you see, I'm really liking what you're doing there. But was that something that you had the skill for prior to COVID, or you had to learn it during this pandemic?
Not at all. Like, if someone told me a year ago that I would be, a small business owner, I would have told them that it was a lie. Because this was far from, my mind. But I'm still going to UB doing nursing.
Wow.
All right.
So I just started to figure out ways to, things that will actually bring in income for me.
Wow.
So let's bring it back to Tariq for a second. I want to come back to starting your own business in just a bit. But Tariq, tell us about some of the things you've tried to do to sustain yourself over this time.
Well, like I said earlier, at first I was really grateful for the funds that was being issued to us by GOB. That actually helped me for a while. And then I was like, what next? What next? And I've started to do some construction. It's like I said earlier, imagine going from just using your hand to point and give gestures, and then actually, doing in the hands-on. So I did that for like 3 months while I was actually doing a work at home, like online. I'm not a person who likes to be at home. I like to be outdoors, and store gardening is, what I really love. So the construction kind of helped me to go outside. So I wasn't worrying about the fact that, it was less than what I was used to, a lot less, but it was still sufficing me, and it was taking me on a day-to-day basis. The family was, taken care of.
Yeah. Wow. I'm liking the stories because it actually gives a ray of hope. It shows us that there is light at the end of the tunnel. But I'll tell you what, guys, this is a two-part conversation. And when we come back, we'll be venturing off into other parts of this conversation of how we're dealing with COVID and letting these folks tell you exactly some new ways to follow. So we'll take the break and we'll be right back.
Working off-site doesn't mean you have to be off your game. Studies have shown that simply adding a keyboard and mouse to your laptop increases productivity by 26%. Add a monitor, and you'll be 35% more productive. At Fulltech Systems, we have what you need to enhance your remote work or e-learning experience. With devices such as headsets, video conferencing monitors, webcams, keyboards, mice, docking stations, all with the brands you trust. Keep connected with collaboration tools like Microsoft 365 Suite and Kaspersky and perform efficiently no matter where you are. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
You've worked hard your whole life building your future, your family, your business, your home. And when you aren't around to safeguard your most beloved assets, you are at ease because you know they are protected by RF&G Insurance. For over 50 years, RF&G has been making sure business owners get back to work after an accident, and families get back into their homes quickly after a natural disaster. At RF&G, it's you who matters most. Visit us today and learn why it pays to get it right. RF&G Insurance, a Rowe Group company.
If we are only as strong as our families, businesses, institutions, and the communities that surround us, then by giving businesses the power to grow, entrepreneurs the ability to expand, and by giving our families the right to own something, the Belize Bank gives you the power to build a nation, our nation. We are stronger together. The Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
Do you need to apply for a Social Security card? With our newest online service, My Social Security, applying for a card just got easier. With a My Social Security account, you can apply for a card anytime and anywhere, putting you in control. To use this service, you must first create your My Social Security account. Visit our website. Under Online Services, select My Social Security, provide your personal information, and await activation of your new account. After activation, you are free to log in to your My Social Security account to complete your online application for a Social Security card. Be sure to book your registration appointment to finish the card application process. Gain control and truly experience Social Security at your fingertips.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Andrea Polanco, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
Reduce your risk of viral illness like the flu or the coronavirus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water or with an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Cover your nose and mouth when coughing or sneezing with a tissue. Throw away, then wash hands immediately. Avoid close contact with anyone who has the cold or flu-like symptoms. If you become ill, please visit your doctor or nearest health center and share your travel history. A health and wellness message from your Ministry of Health.
right now, the vaccine trials do not show where the COVID vaccine makes any pre-existing conditions worse. In fact, persons with preconditions, medical conditions, that mean that if they get the disease, they are more likely to get a severe disease and are at risk of death. Persons who are obese, have chronic lung problems, cardiovascular disease, kidney disease, or any other serious disease, they are protected from developing the complications of severe COVID. So it is better to take the vaccine even if you have medical comorbidities or preconditions.
Back. This is the second part of the two-part conversation with some folks who actually lost their jobs during the COVID. Now, you know, very interesting stories, and what I'm getting from all of you is that there is definitely a ray of hope with respect to how you carry yourself and the jobs that you're actually now taking up. But I wanted to ask, and I'll start again now with Nick. Nick, was anybody close to you affected with or actually got sick from COVID?
Got sick, actually got sick. Probably some of my guides, some of the guides that I know, they got sick. And like I know this one guy from Orange Walk, he told us he got sick for 21 days. He was in quarantine, couldn't come out, and it was a very horrible feeling because he used to be the person going out to chop cane for his family to make an income now, and he had to depend now. He has his wife and his kids, and now he had to depend on his parents to try to come in and assist him. So he's probably the only case that I know about when it comes to close persons who got the COVID. That was really that had it really bad. Others had it, but lasted for like a week or so. As I know this one guy too from San Pedro, he had it, and he said it was a very horrible feeling as well, because he was at home, couldn't move, had to stay in a room all day, and all the food had to be brought to him, and he was worrying, you know, how are they getting food to come to him? How is the family going to get fed? How is the bills going to get paid if he cannot go out and make a living, right? So, and actually a lot of people, I believe, were very skeptical when it comes to going to take the test, because if they're the only provider for their family and they're very scared to go and take this test. Let's say they go and take the test and they come out to be positive, right? Then they will have to go into quarantine for a couple of weeks or a couple of days. And so a lot of people, I think, didn't really, even if they had it, they didn't go and take the test. So I believe that a lot of the virus was spreading due to that fact as well, because they didn't really have an income to help sustain their family, so they were still going to work even though they had the virus. Right?
Yeah.
While some were responsible and taking the test, others weren't really doing that.
Yeah.
Because of the needs to provide for their family.
That's interesting. Yeah, you know, you never think of that particular perspective. But Nick, you mentioned earlier that you collaborate a lot with other associations as well. And you very clearly said that while you and some of your guys have decided to start new businesses and venture in new areas, there are some who are still unemployed.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about those stories. And is it because they can't find any work, or they're just waiting on tourism?
Some of them can't find any work, and a lot of them are just waiting on tourism. As I could give you a lot of examples, like I come from a tourism family. My sister was the one that introduced me to tourism. She has been a tour guide for over 18 years. I've been a tour guide for going on 15 to 16 years now, and a tour operator for over 14 years. Like herself, I'll give you an example of her and my dad. My dad is a retired teacher after 36 years, and just last year, January, he became a tour guide and started working within the industry with us, right? So he only got the experience in the tourism industry for about 3 months, and then he had to venture. But we grew up farming, right? That's how we went. Him and my mom, they used to do farming and sent us to school. So, for example, like my sister, she had to go back into farming. She started buying the boiled broiler chickens and raising chickens, the local chickens. Then you have another example, Mr. Desmond. If you go to the market at 6 a.m., you'll find Mr. Desmond. He's actually a very successful tour operator with buses and big company, not him and Miss Margaret. But you will find him, Miss Margaret is selling food from her house, and now Desmond, he actually goes to every other day up all the way down to Stan Creek in his tour van, right? You'll see a 15-passenger van, all the seat out, and he's bringing down citrus, oranges, and limes, and he's selling at the market, right? Then you have other examples like in Libertad, there's another guy, he started making ideals, right? Ideals to sell like Milky Way ideals or sugar cane ideals to try to make ends meet, right? Yeah. Especially after the fund, because I think the last funding was received around the ending of October. That was when a lot of people, you know what, we gotta do something. And even now, right, you still have a lot of guides. They couldn't find jobs before, and now some of them are getting little job here and there. But you still have some that will be waiting around for tourism, and we're trying to tell them, look, you can't wait around for tourism. You gotta try to do something, right? You can't depend on the government, or she can't be depending on others to try to sustain us. We gotta be self-sustenance, right? So a lot of them, they're doing backyard, like this guy from Chris Hatcher, he's doing backyard farming, and I was talking to him, and he's like, he never used to do it before, and he's doing his habaneros, and he's doing other little backyard farm that he's selling around, right? Then you have another guy, Wallace, right? These are all guys. Wallace, this guy Wallace, if you go on George Street, you'll find him a car wash just recently opened. Car wash, I believe it is. He was actually a guy, and he ventured into that. He said he started with just a bucket and a brush, and now he has a little pressure washer, And just recently, he told me he want to get an extractor to start doing carpets and different things in the vehicle. Yeah. So I'm like, so what are you going to do after COVID? He said, well, he's going to keep this job and still do tour guides. So a lot of them, same thing, my sister, she's going to still do her whole trip or her farming and still do tour guides. So I believe after tourism reopening after COVID is kind of down a little bit, then you will have a lot of the tour guides still having now venturing to two different jobs.
Have
right?
something to as a fallback.
Yes, as a fallback, or even as a, because if it's for example like the young lady said, she started just with photocopying and now she's doing marketing. And pretty much if she continues on that in 2 years from now, she'll be a nice growing company in Belize, providing a lot more service, especially when it comes to the tourism industry, because we love to support those in the tourism industry. So if you know that you're trying to do something, then we'll try to go and support you. Yeah. But it's very hard. Like she said, it's very hard. And if you ask any others, actually, it's very hard to try, like right now, to get a business off the ground. It's very hard because a lot of people are unemployed, right? So you can't just venture into business that you could have ventured in 2019. You gotta be critical thinkers now. We gotta think outside the box and see what is needed in the area. For example, myself and 6 other tour guides last year, October, we were like, this is something new to us now. Remember, right? This is something new to us. We're like, okay, well, I have a little experience in it, but the others, it was not like, guys, you got to do something. You're just going to be sitting at home. So we decided to farm sanitization services, because with the gold standard and getting all the equipment, so we had to sanitize our vehicles and our offices. So we already knew the ins and outs on it. Mm-hmm. So that was when we formed a company, registered. We got approved by the Ministry of Health. And actually, we are the only ones that is offering the type of sanitizing when it comes to disinfecting and sanitization, right? Yeah. The equipment that we're using, we're the only one that has that type of equipment in Belize, because we were like, we don't want to be doing the conventional way. We want to go above and beyond, so that when, because that's what we are in tourism, right? In tourism, we always want to see things progress and get better. We don't want to stay at one level. Yeah. So that's why when they came out with the gold standard, like the video is running right now, with the gold standard, you can see that these are all local guides and operators. They decided, you know what, instead of waiting around for the government to give assistance, they took money out of their pockets, equipped their vehicles, right? They put the stickers, they put like this van that is showing, if you open, this is for Marcos Stores from Belmopan, right? He went above and beyond to get his vehicle equipped. You open the vehicle door, there's a hand sanitizer station automatically that dispenses hand sanitizers in your hand, right? He has air purifiers in his vehicles, right? So you can see the type of investment that the operators and guys they put in, and that is why now, when the tourism is coming back, now we're trying to tell we're trying to have like the BTB or the Ministry of Tourism or whoever is responsible to have enforcement. Because if you have all of the operators, you tell them you got to get the gold standard and got to get this and that, and have to carry tours, and now things are reopening, and all of these guys did their investment, and now you have just a regular guy just coming in and start carrying the tours without going through the proper channel. So it's good to have the rules, but we have to have enforcement with those rules.
Absolutely. Nick, can I get a question in here? Because I wanted to ask you very quickly. The airport reopened the end of last year, and we've started to see tourists coming back. From the group that you work with, tell us about how many people are actually seeing some businesses restart again.
For picking up at the hotel, I know King David Tours. I've met him a couple of times at the airport. Let's say we have 100 operators on our chat group, or in our group, or over 100.
Yeah.
If 15 of them are at the airport, that's a lot.
Wow.
If you go there on a daily basis, you probably only find, I guarantee you probably only find 2 of them that I know of that probably are out there every other day doing transfer, right? And it's not like they're picking up 5 or 10, probably 1 person or 2 persons, right? That's like I said, I've seen King David out there. He also equipped his vehicle, spent some money, and he also picks up people out there, but not often, right? So the investment is there, the equipment is there, the operators, the guys are trained already, but it's still not to that point where everyone has a piece of the pie, you know. It's not everyone could get the work properly, right?
Let's bring it over to Ava for a second. Ava, since the airport has reopened and tourists started coming back, do you see yourself going back into the industry?
Honestly, not anytime soon.
Yeah. Why not?
Because like Mr. Alvarado said, that it's not that much that everyone can, survive on it. Yeah. So I'll continue to do what I am doing, and maybe in November, like they said, that the cruise tourism will start, but maybe in November I might go back.
Yeah.
But you seem uncertain at this particular point. You're saying maybe. Why is that?
Because in the beginning, like tourism, everybody wants to go into tourism, and because like no one predicted that this would have happened, and we won't have any source of income, or that the tourism industry would collapse. So I'm unsure, because it's not something that anyone is starting off right now.
Yeah. So you're fearful that you get back into it, and then you end up back in the same situation again.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Wow. Now I want to ask Jared. Let's bring you back. So you're the only one right now on the panel. I don't believe if we still have Tariq. I think we lost him. Tariq, are you still there? No, we may have lost him. Let me bring Jared back into the conversation. So you are now training to be a massage therapist. What's interesting about all of your stories is that you fell on hard times in a situation I think that everyone is fearful of, but you've all found a way to kind of give you hope to move forward. Tell us a bit about what you think prompts you or pushes you in that particular area. Some people don't necessarily take the steps to find an alternative. What makes it, what put you in the position that you had to find another way out?
Well, for me, I consider myself relatively spontaneous. I'm always doing something. Before I know you've met with me before with different groups like the Youth Advocacy Movement and those various groups. So I'm always doing something. I'm always trying to be active. And really, before COVID, I had high hopes. I was just finishing up with school. I started venturing into what could have been a potential career, and there were a lot of different traveling opportunities that were being opened up to me as well. So I really had high hopes for all of those, and COVID was like, okay, Jared, you need to just sit down and just rethink all of this. So, I had no choice but to comply. And what got me into massage therapy, it's really just, I call it manifestation. I know, well, with my voice, everyone tells me, bro, your voice is so deep. You need to go work on the radio. I ended up working on More FM. Bro, you should definitely do some voiceovers. I ended up doing voiceovers. And with my close friends, of course, I'm really touchy and physical. And I'd usually just give them like arm rubs or different like shoulder rubs, like just light shoulder rubs. And they really enjoyed it. And one of my friends, Danielle, she said, you should really consider, go taking some classes and becoming a certified massage therapist. And I was like, I'll look into it. And then, well, I guess out of coincidence and assuming, I started seeing some content on Instagram with different massage therapists and the craft they put into their work and the art behind it. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just go ahead and do it. So I started doing it, and people didn't take it serious at first. Like, okay, you're doing it. Well, you say you'll do it, and a couple weeks later, boom, I pop out with a massage bed or a massage table of my own. And everyone is like, wow, you're actually doing this. I thought you were joking. Yeah. So it's really just that spontaneous, coming back to it, it's really just that spontaneous drive and that manifestation, I think, for me, that just pushes me to go ahead and do it. Just get up and do it.
Wow. Yeah. All right, and Nick, tell us about the business when you made the move and said, okay, I won't rely just on tourism. I won't sit around and wait. I'm going to get a business started.
Well, Miss Marlene, whenever you start a business at first, to get it off the ground, that's the most difficult part, right?
Yeah.
So for the first, it was a struggle. It was a struggle. Because it was during the time when there was
lockdown
restrictions, lockdown. You couldn't travel outside, so you couldn't actually go and meet your clients or meet prospective clients to share your proposals, to share the product that you offer.
Yeah.
Right. So it was a struggle at first, and after we did our first 2 or 3 gigs, and the customers they love it, right? They start sharing our contacts, they start sharing, and we start building, right? And we're slowly still building up, right? So it's getting there, but at first it was a struggle just like in any other business. Just like in tourism, when we first started doing tourism for the first year, we saw 3 guests. 3 guests, that was back in 2007, 3 guests in a whole year, right? But just like tourism, most tour operators will venture into it at first and say, well, we'll still carry it just to make the ends meet and to get that first review, right? Just to cover the bills, or sometimes even now, if a tour will come, sometimes an operator will carry a tour, right? And let's say it was scheduled for 6 people to go to the Mayan temples and only 2 show up. They can't just cancel at 2. They will have to carry that 2 and take a loss, and hopefully they get a 5-star review to help boost their business. So it's the same thing that what we were doing at the beginning, right? We were doing our services, and the people, the clients, they really loved it, and they start sharing our contact information with other companies, and from there we start meeting them when the restrictions were lessened, and it has been growing slowly. Still climbing the ladder, but it's growing slowly.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
Nick, and I wanted to ask from a tourism standpoint, one of the things they promoted, especially at the start of the, while things were subsiding to a certain extent with COVID, they started to boost local tourism. Did that help?
Well, local tourism, what we did, it helped a little. Like I said, some of the tour operators, they have some creative ideas. Like on our website, we started to offer a Belizean discount. We did a like and share the page, and you get $100 off a package to go snorkeling package of 6 people. I know the same guy on his Facebook page, King David Tours. He did a barbecue sale. Like you buy a couple tickets for the barbecues, and if you win, they put your name inside a barrel, and if you win, 4 people get to go on a tour.
Wow.
So a lot of operators were doing little advertiser marketing like this. So they had to be creative. Some of them got the local tourism, but at that time when it was a lot of restrictions, like I said, so you couldn't really travel throughout the country as much. So it was still hard on the operators and the guides, right? And I think it was more hard on the guides per se, though, because throughout the tourism industry, the guides are the one that takes a lot of lick. Like the guides are the front page to the operators. Like an operator cannot, like my business or any other business, and it doesn't matter if it's small or big, cannot function without their tour guides. And I think a lot of companies, after this, the guides have wised up and realized, you know what, we have been taken advantage of over the years. So a lot of them have wised up now, and a lot of the companies, I'm pleading actually to the companies, you know, to treat the guides properly, pay their social at least for the guides, you know, pay social for the guides, get a insurance for guides, them on tour, you know, because if a guy gets sick even before COVID, if a guy was to get sick and he's working for a XYB company, right, and he goes home, no social is being paid for that guy, so he has to do what he's doing right now, trying to catch and kill or trying to find a way to survive while he's out sick from work. Right?
So let me just see if you when the local tourism picked up, they weren't really accessing tour guides as much as they were accessing hotels. Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah. We have to round off the conversation at this point, so I wanted to just take the opportunity, one, to say thank you for sharing your stories. We've been talking a lot about unemployment, and we wanted to hear from people who lost their jobs. And I also want to say thank you for showing all of us that, you know, once you have that drive, you can still, I know you're not making what you used to make. I know that you're not comfortable or secure the way you were a year ago, but it is very, you know, inspiring to hear how you keep pushing to move ahead and get out of this very dark period. So let's let our viewers know how they can support. Nick, the name of your business, if people want to support?
Well, I like to just advertise the Blast organization. If you go on the Facebook page, you'll find Blast, and you have different companies that are part of the Blast. So I just like to say to support the local tour operators, right? The small local tour operators, right? These are the ones that really know about Belize. And point number 2, I would like to plead on the behalf of the tour guides of Belize, the different associations. If the Ministry of Tourism and BTB could waiver the tour guide licensing fee again this year, because like I said, last year it was done, and they have a little this year, but about 50% of the people don't have work still yet. So the little that they're making have to suffice for their families. So it will be a big help if they could also do that this year again.
All right, thank you for that perspective. Jared, tell us about your massage business.
So right now I'm still going to Holistic School of Massages. I'm still doing the course there. I do, like I mentioned, I do have the massage business drafted up in the pipeline. So it's just to finish up the packages and finish up with the business plan, and we'll get that on the road. And hopefully you'll be seeing me again sometime soon.
All right. We do hope so. And Ava, how do people follow and support your business?
You can find me on Facebook on Lasting Memories Design. That's my Facebook name. For Mother's Day, we also have some gift packages. They're very limited, so you can find me on Facebook and make your order.
All right.
Wow. All right.
Thank
well,
you.
guys, thank you so very much for joining us this morning. We hear your stories, and we're sure that there are a lot of people who feel just like you, but at least you're giving a ray of hope. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you too, and have a blessed day.
You too.
All right, so we're about to take a break. When we come back, we'll be discussing a specific tree that's being used to make some local produce. We'll tell you exactly what that is when we come back. Stay with us.
This COVID update was brought to you by Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
My name is Gerald Jones, a member of the Belize Police Department, and I believe that violence is never acceptable or excusable. We must make an effort to stop it. There is no excuses to violence.
Real men do not abuse women, girls, and children under any circumstances. Men have to set example for boys to renounce any form of violence against women and girls and put a stop to it. Our women are partners in creating a safe space for our children and their children. As men, it is our responsibility to end violence and abuse towards women. Less violence and more love.
Gender-based violence is not just a woman's issue. It is a human rights issue. Women and children should not feel unsafe in their own homes where they should feel the safest. Let us fight against all forms of violence.
I believe that no society can fully develop while marginalizing women. Development can only be successful when it is inclusive and equitable for all. The relationship between women and men must be built on equal power, real partnership, and mutual respect. If people work together, we can bring an end to gender-based violence.
I will play a role in creating a cultural and social shift that no longer tolerates violence against women, girls, boys, and other men. We all have responsibility, so I will challenge my friends, family, neighbors, and my co-workers to end gender-based violence.
It's a fact that with Smart, you get truly unlimited everything. Only with Smart, you get unlimited data anytime, while with the other guy, it's only double data on weekends. With unlimited data every day with Smart, there's no need to wait. So, it's a fact that our unlimited plans beat the competition. Stop being measured and told when to use your data and get unlimited talk, text, and data. Experience the true unlimited plans with Smart. That's a fact. Make the switch and live smart.
Why, Tony?
Boy, kid, what you going on, man?
Well, I actually come see you because I need to buy a stack of them plastic plates and cups for my grocery shop because I run low.
Boy, I stopped importing that thing since April 15th, you know. And I just routed the last batch, must be about like 3 weeks back, you know.
Man, do I usually have that thing? What you going?
Check this, right? Under the new law, we ban all single-use plastics, so that the cups, plates, forks, spoons, and knives, all of that. Since April 15th, can't import none of them. Starting January 15, 2021, you can't manufacture them. April 15, 2021, you can't sell them. And after July 14, 2021, if you get catch with any other thing, you will get fined.
Me never know this. I guess I have to make some changes then. I have to make the customers know that anything not available. Anyways, bro. Thanks, man.
No problem, man. Take care.
documentation of having recovered from COVID-19 to travel to the U.S. In light of this, Maya, in partnership with Caring Hands Clinic, have established testing centers in all their municipal airports. Caring Hands Antigen Test Center is operational in San Pedro, Belize City, Dangrega, Placencia, and Hopkins. These testing facilities are staffed by licensed healthcare professionals, including doctors, registered nurses, and nurse practitioners. Testing is done using Abbott rapid test devices that are FDA approved and made in the USA. The service is safe, fast, affordable, and the close proximity of the centers makes them convenient. Walk-ins are welcomed, but appointments are encouraged. If you would like to make an appointment, please feel free to do so at Make your appointment, get tested, and in 15 minutes, you can get back to your vacation.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Andrea Polanco, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes, go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
Just like that, we are back, and we're now venturing off into our third and final segment for the morning. We've got two esteemed gentlemen in with us. But before that, there is a specific tree in our country that you could use to make various produce. And in to tell us about that, we've got Fred Hunter, of course, from the Belize Red Cross. He got on a Red Cross shirt. We can see that. And, of course, we also have farmer Hector Mar. Guys, good morning and welcome.
Welcome.
Good morning. It's a pleasure.
Mr. Hunter, I'm seeing a few products there, but I also, especially during the commercial break, heard that, you know what, it's from one tree.
Yes.
So tell us, what's going on here?
Well, good morning, everyone. I'll give an introduction of how the Red Cross got involved with this.
Now let's hear that.
And we have been, especially over the last 10 years or more, been working on resiliency of the community, not just disaster preparedness and response.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're looking at resiliency, we're looking at many aspects of the community where they can help themselves.
Mm-hmm.
A big part of it is food security, safe water, enough water is ours. But a big part, and I always ask at the sessions training in the village, who here has a job the day after a hurricane? Looking at livelihoods, you know. And you always hear that the most susceptible ones to hurricanes are farmers.
Yeah.
So we started to look what crops can withstand a hurricane, what crops can withstand a drought, which crops can withstand a flood, and which of these plants give food safety for the community. And guess what? It's been sitting here for the last 4,000 years.
4,000 years.
The Mayas used to use it.
The Maya nut. What is the name of the tree?
Brosimum alicastrum. That's the scientific name.
Okay.
Yes.
And what we call it in the community?
Ramon, breadnut, but there's also the breadfruit that has the seeds in it, also called breadnut.
Yes.
And if you notice, this breadnut is a little
bigger.
It's bigger, yes.
Yeah.
It's a little fruit.
It's a little fruit, yes.
Versus the other big breadnut.
Okay.
So the tree, some people call it Ramon. Hector, what do you call it in the village?
We call it Ramon also.
Ramon?
Ramon.
Yeah, different countries have different names.
Okay.
Like El Salvador call it Ujuste,
Honduras call it masica. And so it depends on the region.
Okay.
Because of the Mayan ancestry, they had their own communities, you know.
So did you do anything with this tree? Did anybody in the community do anything with this tree before you realized that it withstands hurricanes?
I grew up a cattle farmer, and I remember growing up as a boy, the farmers in Cayo, their cattle were in the pasture fat, but there's no grass on the ground, it's brown. And the only thing green was the trees growing along the fence line. And that's they used to cut the branches to, is the bread nut. I mean the Maya nut. Let's call it Maya nut because it throws a 15 to 20 foot tap root. It's a hardwood tree. It grows 80 feet up into the air.
Wow, so it's big.
But no hurricane will blow it down, and it will, when it's green when everything else is brown.
Wow.
Wow.
And it gives...
That's what it looks
so
like.
that's what it looks like on the screen there.
And it gives up to
they're massive.
400 pounds of seed every year between March and April.
Wow.
So we were looking at a lot of different crops and like that, but this is one that kind of stood out because it's been around. It's a high protein. The Mayas used to use it 4,000 years ago. And you can make so many things. Oh, I've had some nice meat hamburger patties made.
From Maya nut?
Delicious.
What? That's what. How is that different from this? That's peeled?
Okay, this here
is boiled.
We boil it and we
boil it.
We pack it and we put it in the freezers, and we have a whole year of supply.
What? So you could use it after an entire year once you freeze it?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Or you can dry it and grind it down to a flour.
So yeah, it has since it's boiled, it has like that texture of cooked beans. That's kind of what it's like.
Well, the Mayans used to, my grandmother, I learned from my grandmother, we used to collect these and we used to make patties, meat patties. We used to mix it with an egg and fry it or grill it, and it makes a nice patty.
Really?
Yes, and then, I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
And then
what does it taste like, Hector?
This, to me, it's hard to determine the taste, but I mean, it's something that you can always mix with something else.
It is nice.
It is good.
Can it be eaten just like that, like right now?
Yes, you could tear this piece and taste one if you want.
Please.
This is the straight off the tree version.
This straight after the tree version.
But it's boiled.
And that's cooked. That's boiled.
And this is the one. The 3 different products are determined by the different temperatures when you're really roasting. When you're roasting, for example, the coffee will have a higher density of heat because you need to get it strong and brown.
Black, yes.
And brown, because coffee lovers like something strong.
Yeah, strong coffee.
Yes, and the color and everything. So this is what takes the over coffee.
And then the other one?
The other one is 20% cacao and 80% Maya nut. This we use it for kids because children, they like chocolate.
Yeah, love chocolate.
So if they love it, because kids nowadays, if you tell them you drink something from the forest, they don't want to hear about that. They want to hear about chips and Coke.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that is what is taking over. We have to go back. We have to go back
to our roots.
Tradition is about tradition.
Yes.
It's about life. It's about health.
Yes.
Why were the Mayans so successful in everything? And they were healthy.
Yeah.
Because of what they eat, what they consume. This thing contains a high percentage of proteins.
Wow.
Amino acid, zinc, calcium. The list goes
on and on.
Long and
it's a superfood.
I'm a bit amazed and a bit not so happy with the outer world. USA already has it on the market because of superfood. Japan is already buying it from Central America.
Really?
Europe knows about it. The Germans got involved and they made a study of this. And so the universities of these countries in Central America have made studies through other institutions from abroad.
To show the success of the Maya nut.
To show the success and to show what it contains.
You showed us the coffee, you showed us the chocolate
coffee.
mix.
What's the last
and the
one?
horchata.
Horchata.
Horchata is the
Wait. So
Alright.
horchata from
yes,
Maya nut?
Right. You could mix it with
it tastes like almond milk.
Yes, like almond
Oh,
milk.
wow.
And if you,
Nice,
if
like
you buy one,
Yeah.
if you buy
Lovely
one, pack
flavor.
almond milk and you mix it with this, or soy milk. Oh man, you got it.
Real?
Protein. I mean, especially for young people like you.
Oh, so that's what it looks
You
like.
know
when you open it.
that do the jogging. Here it goes. I mean,
I
the
love to do
protein.
that.
I mean, you can't go wrong.
So this is fascinating because you're right. Maya nut is becoming one of these big superfoods in other parts of the world. People are drinking it instead of coffee, and they use it for milk instead of milk. When you realize that this is a resilient plant, that if there's a hurricane that comes around, any farmer will know that this one will survive.
Right.
And you start doing the research to see how healthy it is. What was that like?
I tell you what, the way I feel right now about it, I think every yard in Belize should have a Maya nut tree in the backyard. Because when this tree is mature, 8 years or more, it can give up to 400 pounds of, you saw the seeds, how the
Maya nut.
flower
Yeah.
grow. And once you harvest it, dry it, everything, you have enough food to feed your family for the whole year,
Wow.
at least with basic high protein
High
nutrition.
protein, yeah.
You could powder it down to a flour and store it. And we're looking at resiliency in the community. If everybody learns how to harvest and store, dry their own food, so that they are dependent on themselves, not waiting for somebody to come outside and save them.
This is amazing. I
They-
really.
and it's sitting right here in front of our faces, and we're not recognizing it till now.
Wow.
We should have grown up with this.
Yeah.
But instead, we're chasing foreign foods, foreign lifestyles, everything, and forgetting that we have the best here. And this is a plant that is disaster resistant. There's no bugs or diseases or so that affect it. It grows. It's adapted to this environment.
It's a huge tree, though.
And wildlife is adapted to it. It not just feeds humans. It feeds all kind of.
You said that traditionally your grandmother used to use it.
Yes, and I grew up with it.
You grew up with it. What
And
all did she make for you?
Well, we made the patties, and we made the coffee. And she used to mix that one with the corn, because you roast the corn, and you grind it, and you mix it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing.
Is it sweet? Is it bitter? What's the taste like? I wanted to taste one of the raw ones. I'm done with that.
It's
but
cooked.
Yeah.
That one is boiled.
Okay, so it's boiled.
Yeah.
But is it bitter? Is it sweet? What?
No, it's, to me,
More like potato.
like potato.
All
I
right.
would
Okay.
say.
So is it? Can it be eaten before boil? Like I've got 3 here.
No.
Oh, you're not supposed to. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Man.
And the good part is that this tree is not only resistant to drought, disease, and it provides food, oxygen. I mean, we breathe fresh air. When you go to the Mayan sites, you always hear the monkeys making noises, and they're in their own habitat. It's because the Ramon tree is there. Ramon tree is all over Belize.
I just wanted to ask that.
Well,
like,
at least
how do you
in-
detect the tree? Because now I'm skeptical. I want to see this tree, but how do I detect? Okay, that's a Ramon tree.
Well, if you notice in the picture there, from a distance, in the dry weather, you'll see the other trees turning pale green. But the Ramon will stay green.
Dark green.
Dark green. He's so majestic.
Yeah.
He's so important that he is above the others.
Wow.
He's been telling you a long time to pay attention, right?
Yeah.
He's talking to us.
Yeah.
He's saying, here am I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry about COVID-19.
Yes. I am here.
I have learned, and I used to always consume it at the farm, but thanks to COVID-19, I start 100% with a friend from El Salvador. She came, she brought some university people to teach us about grafting and other things, right?
Yeah.
And she couldn't go back to her country because of the COVID-19. So, God always talks to us too in different ways. Sometimes he will not come and tell you, I don't know what your name is.
John.
He will not come and tell you, John, there's a program called Open Your Eyes. He will not come and tell you, open your eyes more, John, I'm here. I mean, let's open our eyes more and let's pass this to our generations.
Yeah.
Let's plant these trees that will provide food, will provide medicine. The leaves are also medicine. It provides so much. It's there in Mother Nature. God has given this to us. We must take advantage of what we have. You have other countries in Europe, Japan, USA, that will want to have these in their backyard.
And they are not able to get it.
I have one tree in my backyard over 100 years.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
It gives me 200 plus pounds every time I go collect.
Of Maya nut. Every
Maya
time.
nut, it's right there in my backyard.
And how often does it produce?
It produces from
Once a
March
year?
and April.
March and April.
2 months. 2 months at a year.
So you get enough in that harvest to last you the entire year of production.
So this is what we have to tell Belize. We have it there.
Yeah.
And all it contains, I mean the basic things that your body need. I mean, it will boost up our immune system. I personally live at the farm. I can't get used to this thing here, but
That's okay.
This does not exist for me.
Yeah.
I eat what we
What we
grow
produce,
there.
yes, what we grow.
The papayas, the grown foods, and everything, and this blends in with all this. It's like you need meat. Okay, this is the meat.
That's the meat.
And you're pumping in. You're pumping everything into your body that your body needs.
So you season it just like it's a meat.
Like a meat, you put seasoning, it adapts to what you want to.
The flavor that you want. Okay.
It adapts to any flavor.
And
you
then you just add the nutrients.
You want to put an egg, or you want to put anything.
You could do that with that.
You could do
Maya
that.
nut.
And then add, just pretend it's meat.
You've got your products there. You've got the coffee, the chocolate, and now the horchata as well. How long have you been into this business? And was it you, okay, Mr. Hunter? Was it? Tell us about those.
I just wanted to add that there's also the flour for baking to make a bread out of it.
Oh.
That's the one.
So you use it as an alternative. It's over there. Yeah.
Okay, it's back there. But
yeah.
But
so you can make flour out of it.
You could mix it.
And
this is also flour too.
And the reason they call it a Maya nut because in the Mayas in the olden days they used to grind the corn and the flour they used to store it in underground in caves.
Yes, there's a Maya fridge that they stored things. Yes. Right.
When they started to analyze this corn, they realized it was 50% corn and 50% Maya nut. 4,000 years old.
Yeah. Now, you said very clearly this is a part of the project coming out of Red Cross to help people recognize in disaster prone or communities that are at risk for disasters to find alternatives that will keep them through even the toughest of times. Right. How do you assist farmers with creating these products? What's the relationship here?
No, right now, we started in Harmonyville, which is across Beaver Dam Bridge going into Cotton Tree. And the group there, they were the ones that identified the Maya nut as a tree. They wanted to, for climate change adaptation, to reforest the creek side. And they said, well, it's been used in Mexico, Guatemala, Salvador, Honduras. It's being pushed. And they would like to use that tree. And then when we started to look into it, it says, yes, and this has been around. And then I remembered from my personal experience as a cattle farmer growing up as a boy, how popular it was back then. A lot of the trees have been cut down since then, and which is a pity. But then from there, because we were looking at all kind of native crops that were, we're looking especially at palms, coconut trees, because the palm trees they resist the hurricanes a lot more, and it's a sustainable crop, and adapted to the tropics, adapted to our weather, environment, etc. So that's how that was born. And then we contacted, we found out that Mr. Mar had been promoting this product from way back. He had it packaged already.
You were already making these.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what we're doing, we set up a nursery at Harmonyville. There's a group of 17 farmers. They'll be planting their own for their own use, but at the same time, they'll be planting the Maya nut in bags, seedlings that they can sell to the public.
Wow.
So, and we would like to set up nurseries like this in the 6 districts, so that anybody can come up and buy their little Maya nut tree and go plant it in their backyard, or come and buy 100 Maya nut trees and go plant it in their farm. Whichever way they want to go. But because this can also become an alternative income.
Yeah.
And we believe in the future,
especially if it won't be susceptible to things like hurricanes or major storms. You said your tree's with you for 100 years?
And then if Japan and Europe and the US, everybody's buying it, I believe this can become a foreign exchange earner.
Yes.
So it will help the country overall, not just in disaster situation, but just in livelihood. And it's gender inclusive. The whole family can participate in this project. It's so many benefits to come from it. And I'm sure that we have a lot of other plants in Belize that we need to promote the same way. But this is like the flagship.
What's it like, since you have been working with the nut for so long, and now you hear people starting to invest and want to grow the business? What's it like for you to see that other people are catching on?
Yeah, well, I've been working over 7 years on this project. And as usual, Belize has to know more about it. You have to educate the people, but them embarking in what we're doing, it gives me more courage. Plus, they're buying thousands of seeds from me, so I'm making some money already. Why not? You know what I mean? They buy the products, they love it.
We're distributing to farmers.
So I have like 500 trees, plants already.
Nice.
We put 1,000, but they bought a great number of it already. And I'm giving out to all my neighbors in the village.
So they can plant their own.
They're planting it. I'm giving it free.
Wow.
But who wants to buy, I sell it for $5.
Per tree, per seedling, yes.
Yeah. So it's there, and the product I sell it like for $10 Belize for half a pound, but this is a concentrate.
Okay.
You have to understand that the concentrate gives you 80 cups of coffee.
Oh, wow.
Right there.
Coffee. This is very strong.
Let me see it.
This is very strong. This is heavy duty stuff.
But it's decaf. It's not with caffeine.
No caffeine, no gluten. You just
no gluten. Everybody loves gluten-free. All right.
This is the superfood of yes.
So it's you mix the coffee Ramon with hot water or milk. That's it. And it tastes like coffee.
It tastes like coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not coffee, but it tastes like coffee.
Like coffee. Right. It's a perfect drink. I mean.
So which one is the most popular? You have the coffee, the cocoa, and you have the horchata, and you have flour. Which one?
Well, it's hard to tell because if you notice, I only have like 6 bags more.
Yeah.
Let me see
Some
the
people
horchata.
just go crazy for everything. They just
for everything.
They just want everything,
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the thing.
And
And the important part of this is that we getting the families together, and the families, they go pick up. We pay them so much per sack, and they go pick up the Ramon. So the whole family are already being part of this whole thing.
1 teaspoon of coffee Ramon, 1 cup of water or hot milk, sugar to taste. That's it.
That's it.
This is
nothing added.
This
No
is
preservatives. And this thing could be on the shelf for 5 years. It doesn't catch. It doesn't catch. Listen, the beauty of this, it doesn't catch. It could be on the shelf for 5 years. It doesn't catch no kind of insects, no mold, no nothing. I mean, once it's dried,
there you go.
To capacity, it's good.
And the thing is, we found other people, and because they're using it, the homemade dryers, using an old metal zinc, you paint it black, you put a little wooden frame around it and a plastic cover on it. It actually warms up to 140 degrees Fahrenheit in there, just with the sunlight.
In the sun?
And you can dry this in 4 to 5 days, and then use your Lee hand grinder where you fasten onto your kitchen counter.
Yeah.
Grind it down into a flour and store it. store it for the next 5 years. Talking about homemade food security.
And what are the health benefits that you said?
It's a high protein. It has a excellent amino acid and vitamin mineral spread. Yeah. It's like I said, the Maya used it as their
gluten-free, which people love,
protein to the carbohydrate of the corn.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
Okay, so Ramon Maya Food, and this is from Maya Spring Farm. Are you the only one making these products in Belize?
Yes.
So far, yeah.
For now, yes.
And where do you normally sell them?
Well, I was going to Blue Moon, and it was selling.
To Blue Moon?
Where is Blue Moon?
The Blue Moon is in Belmopan.
Okay.
By the Blue Moon restaurant.
Okay.
There's
yes. By the roundabout.
Right. That's where we used to
go. So you sell them there? And
yeah, but no, we don't go, not just because of the COVID, but people are visiting the farm now.
Okay, which is a good thing. They get to see
It's a good thing
firsthand.
because people come to see the first time, and they want to see the tree, they want to see the nursery, they want to see everything. And so we right there we make the patties and the drink, and they like that experience. So we getting people.
So that's a plant-based. You could make plant-based meat out of it.
Yes.
That's what you're doing with
organic,
that.
fully organic.
Well, we need some Maya nut burgers, because if you got the flour, you got the patties, then man.
Yeah, we do. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing in the farm.
The patties taste excellent.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it's a lot better than tofu.
I'll take your word for that for sure.
He's into it.
He likes it, yeah. So how come the sudden interest in the farm? What changed?
Yeah.
You said you'd been doing this for a long time, and before you used to bring the products, but now people are going to you.
I was doing it for a long time for myself.
Okay.
But since the COVID came in, I start selling it, marketing it, and people are into
healthy food.
Healthy food.
Yeah,
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
Well, so do you have like I'm not sure as to, because people will want to see more of this. So how can they contact you, and what can they do to get to see it?
Well, my number is 665-2508.
2508. You do social media, anything on social media, any pictures that people can actually see it online before they go there?
I guess you have pictures and
you can Google
Maya Nut.
If you Google Maya Nut, you'll see how it is buzzing.
A lot of material.
Or you could Google Uhushte from El Salvador, because the lady that has a business there, she is in Belize now.
Okay.
Yeah, she's helping me out with this project. Yeah.
All right.
Well, and we gotta say, Hector only has 6 left. He came here with 6. So if you want to pick up one of either the cacao, the ground Ramon seed, or the coffee, you can call him and try to get one of these bags today.
Even horchata, and I love horchata.
Yeah.
I like the horchata.
Yes.
Me too. I'm sure it must be delicious, because you said it's roasted, right?
Yes.
Yes. It says preparation for atol: 1 tablespoon of grind Ramon, half liter of milk, 1 liter of water, and sugar to taste.
That's it.
And tada, you got your horchata.
Perfect drink.
And for the seedling program, Mr. Hunter?
We're trying to get funding so that we can start to set up nurseries. We're already setting up the one at Harmonyville. That's almost finished.
Okay.
The hub here in Belize City, we'll be doing the, setting up a greenhouse and nursery as well. Not just for the Maya Nut, for a host of plants.
Yeah.
We're promoting like people to change their crops.
Yeah.
Make, pick more resistant crops better adapted to the tropics, and that will give them a better livelihood.
Yeah.
A lot of people are not realizing that a lot of the local crops actually will give them a better return on their work than a lot of the crops that they're doing right now. The traditional crops like corn, rice, beans, lettuce, tomatoes. There's a lot of other, like the ground foods and a lot of fruits, and so that will actually give them better results.
All right.
We're trying to promote that countrywide, but we need, like I said, I would like to tackle every district at the same time.
Yeah.
We have to take baby steps.
Well, you know, the show's called Open Your Eyes. You definitely opened my eyes to something
Yes,
I
you
did
did.
not know about Maya Nut until we knew you guys were coming on the show. And clearly, it's a secret you've been holding on to too long, Hector.
Yeah.
Now the secret's out, right?
Senator Hector, thank you so very much for joining us this morning. Senator Hunter, thank you as well. This definitely opened our eyes, and I'm sure you'll be getting those folks who definitely will be looking into getting themselves some Maya Nut.
Right.
Thank you guys so very much for visiting this morning.
And that number, once again, is 665-2508.
All right. Well, we're about to take our final break in the morning. When we come back, we'll be wrapping things up. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Nazarene High School. You can apply today. Application fee is only $15. Completed forms must be submitted at the office at Nazarene High School, Princess Margaret Drive. Get your applications from the various primary schools in Belize City, at the Nazarene High School office on Princess Margaret Drive, and at the Nazarene High School Facebook page. Documents required: Standard 4, Standard 5, and Standard 6 report cards, and recommendation from principal or Standard 6 teacher. Nazarene High School, educating the mind morally, spiritually, and academically.
If we are only as strong as our families, businesses, institutions, and the communities that surround us, then by giving businesses the power to grow, entrepreneurs the ability to expand, and by giving our families the right to own something, the Belize Bank gives you the power to build a nation, our nation. We are stronger together. The Belize Bank. Our country. Your bank.
2020 taught us the importance of being connected to the virtual world, and NextGen is here to keep its commitment to you. Even if you're physically apart, NextGen keeps you digitally connected.
Okay everyone, thank you for following me today.
NextGen provides more than just an internet plan. They provide service plans that support all your online needs. Sign up today and get your NextGen's ultra high-speed internet service. NextGen, powered by Central TV and Internet.
Currently, we're using Smart Elite Vibe calling plan. We use it interbranch, we use it to call outside, and we also use it to call international. It's far cheaper than what we used to have before. Our equipment, our new PBX box is new. So the PBX is very good because I can call to my Sartaneja branch, I can call to my Kikaka branch, I can call to San Pedro branch, and there's no cost using the PBX. Actually right now, since we're in different locations, I can call main office from where I am at a no cost using the PBX system. I would recommend it, sure I would, especially the big enterprises who has a lot of employees. There's a lot of reduction in costs, 50% of saving. But that on a year, it's a lot of money that we're saving. Money that we could return to our members, since we give back dividend to our members.
Visit our showroom or call 670-6710 to find out how Smart's corporate plan and PBX systems can benefit your business. Consultation is free.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Andrea Polanco, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes, go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
Just like that, we are back, and we're so thankful that you actually started your day with us. You started it right. You started your morning right. We got an eye-opener a while ago with the Maya nut.
It was a really interesting Monday when you think about it. You know, we started talking about unemployment and, you know, the challenges that people have been facing, and all the persons on our panel have found a way to earn an additional income.
Yeah.
It isn't what they were making before, but they're working the best that they can to be able to find an alternative source of income. And then from that inspiring conversation to learning about the Maya nut.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
But what was going through my mind as we spoke about it was actually the moringa plant as well, because that's basically exactly what was said the first time we heard about it. But the Maya nut is amazing. You could actually make a patty out of this thing. Don Hector showed us the coffee, and decaf, you know, gluten-free. So we saw that. We actually saw the horchata, and we saw the chocolate drink as well, right out of the Maya nut. Amazing, Mar.
I think I'm very excited to go home and try that horchata. That's on my list already. But do remember that you can get in touch with Hector. And if you don't remember the number, remember you can always get through, find him through the Red Cross as well. The Red Cross is hoping to be able to develop a bigger project on getting people to plant the Maya nut tree. They have found it to be resilient even in the event that there is a storm. It stands strong and it's still able to continue to provide its harvest. So, you know, great initiative there. And we thank the Red Cross for telling us about it. We thank Hector for coming in and telling us all about his products as well.
Definitely. And being that you're on the thank you train, I'd like to say thank you to you. As you guys, your morning started right with us this morning. If you've got any questions, any concerns, you could always drop us a line at oye@channel5belize.com. You can check us out on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ. Right here on Facebook. Is that it? Yes. And of course on Instagram at OYE Believe.
There you go. All right. You start your Monday right, John.
Yeah, I started my Monday right. I started my Monday right here with the crew. You can join us again tomorrow morning when you open your eyes to start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your hearts open. We'll see you soon. Enjoy your Monday. Believe.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.